All right, so this is part one out of the 3 videos you'll be watching. Feel free at any point to pause and work through your notes, and you can use this to check your answers. Or if you feel like you need more explanation, you're welcome to work through them as I do on the notes. Okay, so we're going to be working with rate of change and slope from graphs and tables. So nothing we're going to be doing on these notes today are new. It's all mixed review from what you've already done previously. So just a couple of reminders. Slope from a graph, you do rise over run. Rise means you go up or down. Okay. That does not mean you're allowed to run first. No matter which points you pick, you can start here to go down there, or I can start here and go up and over. So rising is the only thing you're allowed to do as step one. Then you run, and running means you can only go right or left. Now, if you rise down, that means it's a negative. If you rise up, that means it's positive. If you run to the right, it's positive, but if you run to the left, it means it's negative. So you need to pay attention if you went up, positive, versus if you went down, it's negative. You're always going from one point on the line to the other point on the line. Okay, this is a graphic organizer. This is actually on the back of your notes, but I'm going to go ahead and address it right now. So we have again, slope is your rise over run. Rise means going up or down. Run means going side to side, left or right. So our y-axis is the axis that goes up and down. So we're finding out the distance between two y values. And the run is side to side, your x-axis, and that is finding the distance between the two x's. If we have an ordered pair, it's x and y. That would be representing 1 point, and we have to travel to get to another point on the graph line, and so this would be point 2, so x2 and y2. So again, you will rise either up or down as step 1, and you will run right or left for step 2. So in this instance, I would be going negative because I'm going down, and I'd actually be traveling left, and that would be a negative also. And if you use Desmos, negative divided by negative is positive. I could have also gone from this point up. So I could have gone rise up, which is positive, and to the right, which is also positive. So whether I go up positive, right positive, or down negative, left negative, it will still simplify to positive slope. Positive slopes again go from left to right. They're going moving upward versus negative will be moving downward from left to right. Flat lines with no steepness, that's called a horizontal line that has a slope of 0, whereas a vertical line has a undefined slope. Remember, from slope of a table, we find this is our x, and the one on the right is going to be our y. So x's are always first on a table. So we're going to find rise, which is our y values, or the change in y. This triangle means change. So how far did I go from 60 to 120? Well, we would be adding 60. If I add 60 again, I get 180. I add 60 again, I get 240. So the change in our y is 60. Then we look at our x's, because remember, rise is our y's, x's is a run. So from 1 to 2, we added 1. If we add 1 again, we get 3. Add 1 again, we get 4. So what was the change in the x? Every time we added 1. So we have 60 distance. Let's say they assumed it to be miles per, and then our x is hours. So miles per hour. So again, m is the variable that represents slope. Rise over run. Rise is our y values, which are up and down, like the axis. The y-axis can only travel up and down. And run represents our change in the x, which is side to side, right or left. Okay, so if we have an ordered pair, the point of, we have to have 2 points in order to find slope. So if we go from this point to this point, if I went to the bottom one to the top one, I would be rising up. So my rise means I'm at -1. This is the value on the y-axis from -1, and I would be going up to this number. And if you can notice, the y value is 3, so this number is 3. So I went from -1 up to 3. Okay, so that would be traveling up 4. Then my run, which is the x values, I would be going from this number here, which is -2. So from -2, traveling to this x value, which is +4. So from -2 to +4, that is 6. So the rise was 4, the run was 6. Make sure you always put it in Desmos because it needs to be simplified. That is a requirement. All right, find the slope of triangle ABC and triangle CDE and tell me what you notice. So triangle ABC, if you kind of notice from the picture here, ABC here, that's that right triangle. And remember, you're talking about the slope of this line, okay? So we're going to use the rise over run based off of what they gave us. So if I'm here at number 6, I go down 1, 2, 3. And remember, if you're going down, that means it's a -3. And then if I go from there to this point here, I'm traveling 1, 2. And I went to the right, so that's going to be a +2. So my slope is the rise was -3, and my run was +2. Now I'm going to go ahead and try triangle CDE. Okay, so there's that triangle. So we're going to do the rise just like we did before. And again, we're going to start here. So my rise is from 3, going down 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went down 6. If it's down, I mean it's -6. And then if I go to the right, that means it's going to be positive. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went +4 because it's to the right. So 4. And again, we have to use Desmos. And if you use Desmos, it will simplify to -3/2, which, if you recall, that was the triangle slope of the smaller one. So are they the same? Yes. And if you recall, slope of a line is the same throughout the entire line. Whether you use a small triangle or a large triangle, it will simplify to the same value. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and try the next one. It says find the slope of triangle MNP and triangle JKL. So, and then tell us what you notice. So MNP. So here's the right triangle. And remember, our line is this line here. Okay, so we're going to go from one point on the line to another point on the line. So on this one, we're going to rise up. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I went up, that means it's a +12. So my numerator is 12. Then I'm going to go from there. I'm at -1. So -1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I went left this time. If I'm left, that means it's a negative. Because I'm going left, I have to put it as -9. And what do we always do when we find our slope? We need to simplify. So that will be -4/3. And that's simplified in Desmos. Okay, so let's try triangle JKL. So here's the triangle. Remember, we're using the purple line. So we're going to, from a point on the purple line to another point on the purple line. So what's the rise? Okay, so I'm going to go counting. What is the rise? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we went up. So what does that make it? +4, right? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the run. Okay, so we're here and we're going to travel left. 1, 2, 3. But we went left, so remember, left means it's a negative. So it's -3. And what did you notice? Well, hopefully you noticed that what are those two slopes? They are the same. So yes, they're the same. And should they be the same? Yes, they should be the same because they are on the same purple line. Okay, next one. J saves at a constant rate. And we know slopes are always constant from linear lines. Linear meaning straight lines. What is Jace's rate of change? So we can pick any points that are at intersections. So I can't pick this point because it's not at an intersection. I can't pick that point because it's not at an intersection. So we have to use points that are intersections. So they've kind of already identified which ones they want us to use. So since they've already made it nice and easy, I'm going to go ahead and use their two that they gave me. So my rise, now remember when we're doing word problems, we have to pay attention to everything. What is this information telling me? Well, it's about Jason's savings in his account balance. Well, how much did he start with for this point? Well, he started with 1,000 and I'm traveling up to this point. So how much can I rise? Even though that's 3 boxes, that is not traveling 3 because if I notice, I went from 1,000 to what number? 2,500. So I actually rose 1,500, even though it was only 3 boxes. Okay. And then I'm going to go from here and I'm going to travel to the right. So if it's right, that's positive. Even though you might count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, this is not the 5 numbers because we say hours worked. Well, how many hours did we get here? How many hours was that? 40. So we went from 40 all the way here. How many hours was that? Oh, that's 140. So how much from 40 traveling to 140? That would be 100, right? So that means that my rate of change would be 1,500 because that's your rise over 100. And of course, we're going to simplify that and it would give me 15 in Desmos. And then we need to label it. So savings account balance. So balance, let's just abbreviate, per hour. Okay, hour worked, I guess. Sorry, this pen is not very good, so you have to understand and forgive me. Okay. All right. What is the rate of change? So meters. So meters per second. Per second. So we kind of they've directed us to know what we're going to do. So we can use any points on the line. These are actual points that they said that we can use. So I'm going to use the very first one because that's 0. So that makes it easy to count. And I'm going to use the next one. So I'm going, how many meters did I rise? Well, I went from 0 to what number? 10. I went from 0 to 10. And then I'm going to run. So I went from 0 to what number? I went to 1, from 0 to 1. So this was from 0 to 1. So that's my run. So I have, my answer would be 10 meters per second. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and stop and then you'll do the next video.